Hey, what's going on, people? Hopefully everybody's having an awesome day, awesome evening, or depending on where you at, what's going on, an awesome night. All right, before we get started, I want to run this intro real quick, and then we're going to get right into it. Thanks so much for coming in. It's going to be awesome.
You couldn't be with anyone. I couldn't be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me. You could be around for
You couldn't be with anyone. I couldn't be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome. Hopefully everybody can hear me. They can see me. You guys know what the deal is. If you guys could drop some ones in the chat, let a player know that I can be seen, can be heard, and everything is copacetic. I'd appreciate that. Got to just find my mouse. Okay, Lizzie B with the one. Thank you so much, Lizzie B. Claire, Jody Pierce Scala. Thank you so much. Heather Kelly. Awesome. Thank you guys. Whoa, okay. Teresa's Kid in the house. Jada P. Wendy's Front Yard. Thank you guys so much. Looks like we're gonna have a little bit of a little more of an intimate evening. But we're gonna get it done. You know how we do it. Let me just make sure my phone is not going to disturb us. You know, don't you hate that? You be sitting in a meeting or something and somebody's phone go off? Be in church or court. Bring. You know, there's actually a really good joke about that. And I heard it from a preacher. He said that, you know, there's a guy in church, and I'm going to just tell this real quick joke while we wait for people to come in. It's actually a joke. It's a good point. Said it was a guy who was attending church. He was going there every Sunday with his wife, and then, you know, his wife was talking to him, you know, make sure we're there on time. You got to wear a certain outfit. You got to, you know, present a certain way. We got to get good seats, etc. So he gets to the church, and while he's sitting there, all of a sudden the preacher's up and they doing the sermon. They are, in the case of the Catholics, they doing the homily. And while he's in the middle of the priest's sermon, or the priest's lecture, sermon, homily, his phone goes off. The guy's phone goes off. And everybody stops and turns around. The preacher looks at him. The ushers come up to him, you know, tell him to turn his phone off. And the guy is so embarrassed. And on his way out of the church, he gets in an argument with his wife, and she yells at him. So she takes off. Then he gets in the car, and he drives to the bar because he's so upset. He sits down, and while he's drinking, he spills his drink on the guy next to him because he's so nervous. And when the glass hits the ground, drink goes everywhere. And the crazy part is that the guy is so upset because, you know, he just got yelled at in church. His wife is pissed off at him. And the guy who's sitting next to him, who he spilled a drink on, said, "Hey, man, you okay?" And everybody comes over. The bartender comes over, like, "Hey, man, don't worry about it." He's like, "Oh, I'll clean it up." And he's like, No, don't worry about it. And the guy comes out with a mop and a broom, say, "Hey, don't worry about it. I got it." He cleans up, and the bartender gives him another drink. And the whole moral to the story there is just, isn't it funny that, you know, when he went to church and the place where you should be able to come as you are and be accepted, he wasn't accepted. And if one little thing he did wrong, everybody jumped on him. But he made a bigger mistake at the bar, and all of a sudden everybody accepts him. Everybody's, you know, telling him it's going to be okay and everything is going to be fine. They give him another drink, you know. So I guess the whole moral of the story is that we have to be very careful with how we treat one another, because when you say you represent a good thing, you have to be the good and not just talk about the good. And when, you know, because, you know, like it or not, negative things will always be more inviting, and it will seem more accepting and more willing to accept. But that's just something that struck me. Hey, Kathy Ferran, what's going on? Before we get too long in the tooth, we had some really good messages this week. Britney, I got your email, and I will be taking a look. I took a look at that video you suggested, and I think I might do a response sort of review. There was Britney sent me an email inviting me to take a look at a gentleman by the name of Dr. Park. I think he's out of Seattle. and he reviewed one of the Sister Wives episodes, the one where Cody and Janelle were having a conversation, and Cody was like, "You're making single woman decisions. So basically, what I need you to do, abandon your kids, screw over Christine." And Janelle, "No, I'm not doing that." You know, she's trying to hold a relationship together. And I think that Dr. Park made some very good assessments. But this is also the one where Gabriel was talking about how he had called his dad on his birthday, and he broke down because his dad wasn't talking to him. So we'll be taking a look at that. Now, but I'll see if I can review it, if there's a way I can review it or respond to it or react to it, I guess is what they call it on YouTube. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I mean, his channel's bigger than mine, so it won't be like I'm stepping on his toes. But some folks are a little particular about their content. But we'll see. All right. Yes, Dr. Honda. I think his name is Dr. Honda. And I also got a really interesting email from someone who was inquiring about excommunications, and I thought that was a really good topic, and I wanted to kind of just get my thoughts on it. But before we get to it, I think I saw a super chat come in from Jody Periscala, 499 super chat. Can we talk about NDAs with reality shows? Wonder what Christine's book will be about mostly. I think mostly about leaving the church. I think that you are 100% right. In order for her not to run afoul of an NDA, the only thing that's really required, NDA in normal parlance, is a non-disclosure agreement. So I know most of you are like, I know that, but there might be some people like, what the hell is an NDA? What's he talking about? NDA is a non-disclosure agreement. Typically, you have information that a party may not want you to share. In the case of a reality show that is paying you for your life and life story, they don't want you out there talking about your life and life story that in a way that they can't monetize. If they're paying for it, they want to air it on their network first. The way that she can sidestep any NDA issues with them would just simply be for her to run it past their legal. So she'll have her attorney give it to their attorney. They'll talk it out and hash it out. And in most cases, especially if it's something that's already been discussed on the show, it's not really a downside for the show. In fact, the book in and of itself is a fantastic advertisement tool for the show. So TLC would be very remiss if they tell her not to put the book out. It's almost like, to be honest with you, it's almost like as much as we talk about, like between myself and other my other contemporaries on YouTube, as much as we talk about Sister Wives, they would be crazy to send a cease and desist letter to any one of us and tell us to stop talking about Sister Wives. Because, like it or not, I mean, you know, I do have a dirty hand in promoting the show because we keep the conversation going and the interest about the show continuous, even when they're not on the air. Like now they're on their break, but we're still kind of talking about Sister Wives, which is in and of itself, in a way, commercial. We're commercializing the show, so we're keeping the blood flowing in the show, in this carcass. We're keeping it moving. So technically, the YouTubers, podcasts, and people like that, they're literally doing CPR on this show because we keep the blood moving, the interest high, and the interest consistent while the show is on break. And then hopefully they come back with something decent, and that continues the show. Like that's just how it goes. So I think they'll get around the NDA. I would be very surprised if Christine just dropped the book and TLC had no idea what it was about. But I would also say this: if Christine was coming out with a book and TLC didn't get an advance copy, I 100% believe that they would have fired her off the show. They would have had to. They would have fired her off the show. And she's one of the central characters on the show, so there's really no reason why she should put herself in that situation or put TLC in that situation when they have to make that decision. Or for her, she could go to them and say, guys, I'm coming out with a book. This is what it is. It's hitting the shelves in October or September. I think it's coming out in August, actually, right around the time that they dropped the new thing. I think that there's also a point where we got to recognize that, again, I heard it kind of again through the grapevine. They might be trying to do like a reunification of the family in order to bolster the ratings and keep the show going. And if they do that, like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can keep it going. Like, if they try to do a thing where like all of a sudden we're reunited as a family, and I recognize that they're doing it, trying to craft storylines so that they can keep the show going, I might have to tap the fuck out. Pardon my French. Like that's too much for me. Like I can ride the pretend train for a little bit, but that's just too much. That's a bridge too far for me because it's completely unrealistic. And to be honest with you, for them all to come back together, it's just basically them signing up for abuse, and it's forgiving abuse when somebody hasn't taken accountability to it. Like the only way that kind of would make sense is if Cody, Robyn, and everybody who was horrible to one another, whether it's the OG3 or Cody or Robyn, for them to take responsibility for their part in it and not take responsibility for their part by saying, seeking justification or mitigation by saying that, oh, I was terrible to you because you were terrible to me. I did this to you because you did this to me. They would have to say, I was horrible because of this, and it had everything to do with me. I didn't contact my kids because of Not, oh, the internet got it wrong, the fans got it wrong, YouTubers got it wrong, Twitch, Facebook, whoever, they all got it wrong. Instagram got it wrong. I was actually a present father and husband, and I was awesome. Cody, Robyn, oh, I was a wonderful sister wife. Mary, Christine, and Janelle, oh, they were great. And then I left because I just wanted something different. Like if they're going to do that, you can miss me with the whole show. You can miss me with the whole thing. Like you can go ahead and pack the bags up, roll tape, and just roll credits on that bad boy because I have to tap out. Like because it just would be at that point my chief criticism, and I'm going to air it out now. Here's my thing. If they ran that type of show, my chief criticism would be, I recognize that you're doing this for money. Now it begs the question when, or at least it opens the question and then begs that question. Did you stay in this family to the OG3? Did you stay in this family for as long as you did? Not because of your religious upbringing, not because of your cultural pressure, not because of societal pressure or any of that. Did you stay in this relationship because there was a dollar sign attached to it? Did you sacrifice your children for $1? Did you sell them out for $1? Is that what we're watching? And is that dollar so important to you guys that you're willing to sell your soul and sell your ethics and sell your value? And then that becomes a different type of show at that point. So my recommendation, not that they're going to listen to me, but for me, I think that it would be problematic for them to try to pursue a reunification story, especially this close to everybody talking shit about each other, particularly Cody saying what he said season after season after season. Now, all of a sudden, not only is he supposed to be past that, but he's supposed to be reuniting with them, and they all go on huggy buggy and play buddies and everything. Like, not to mention, let's be honest, what are the stakes? The stakes would make sense because when you have children involved, young kids involved, you care about those kids, you want to see what happens. There's a curiosity there. for you grown ass people, if you choose to hang out with people who have manipulated you, ripped you off, and treated you like dog shit, if you choose to keep calling them up and you've recognized that that's what these people have done to you, and you keep wanting to hang out with them, what do you want me to do? I'm not going to sit here and just watch it. I'm not going to support you in that. I'll support you in the sense that, you know, if you're in a bad situation, I'll support you while you're in that situation and while you need to get out. But if you can get out and you can articulate why you need to be out and why you're happy you're out, and then you re-immerse yourself back in that situation, why am I going back down there with you and dragging my, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way. It rubs me the way wrong way. So I think that you're not going to be able to, and it also just kind of defeats the whole purpose. Rubber Road, real life, because it's supposed to be a reality show. In real life, when a family breaks up the way they did, if they come back together, your relationship is going to be fundamentally different. You're not going to go back to everybody's walking around and Cody skipping around the house like Peter Pan. Like, that shit is, that day is done. That's over. That's done and over. So we have to move on from where we are now. Where we are now, Cody and Robyn have a monogamous relationship. Christine has her own life because she has a marriage and a monogamous relationship with David. Janelle is happy with her life as a business owner and as a grandmom. Let her have her life. Mary's happy pursuing her love interest, doing her thing, being a world traveler and a business owner. Let her do her thing. Let them develop and be who they are. Even in a situation as a parent, if you separate from your kids from a long time, especially you stop seeing your kids when they're children and you don't reconvene with them until they're adults, you don't come back into their lives until they're well-established adults, your relationship is different. You're no longer the parent. Like, you're not coming in there telling them like what to do and go in there and wipe your nose and wipe your feet and wash your hands and stand up straight, pop, button up your shirt, put on a different outfit. You're not that dad anymore. You're not that mom anymore. Your relationship is different. And now you have to create a different relationship. There's no going back across that bridge. You burn that bridge to the ground. You got to find a different way. And I think if that's what they're going to do, that might be interesting to watch. But if they're just going to try to rehash, rebox it, and remake the old show that they used to have, you can miss me with that shit. I'll catch you on a rerun, Playboy. That's just where I'm at. But yeah, thank you so much. Let's give Jody Pierscala a little something. All right. But yeah, Jody, thank you so much for the super chat. But yeah, we had a question come in from someone. They didn't want me to play their message. I wasn't sure if they wanted me to say their name, so I'm not going to say their name. But the question was about the excommunication, and then we'll get into the phone calls. So the question came in the form of an email, and we're going to put it into context. So when we talk about like the excommunication, we have to first talk about like Cody Brown. We're all familiar with who Cody Brown is. He's the patriarch of the Brown family and Sister Wives reality TV show. We all get that, right? But then we go to the AUB, the Apostolic United Brethren. It's one of the largest fundamentalist Mormon polygamous groups with a hierarchy, priesthood, leadership, and community rules. When we talk about the AUB, in the AUB, plural marriage is tied to a spiritual status and priesthood power. Your family is not just yours, but it's part of the church structure, which is very important, especially as we talk about like the ability to excommunicate or in some cases reassign or divide or the family, because the priesthood, the family itself isn't independent. They are part of, and this is just my understanding, and I'm going to reach out to Corey and Melanie to make sure that what I'm saying is correct. But they have the ability to, if they feel like you're not doing the right thing by your family, they can break you up. So, which is ironic because that's something they always said that the state was going to do. But as it turns out, they kind of put themselves in the line of fire for the actual church to come in and do it to them. The question is, I guess, first we have to ask, was Cody ever really in a high-ranking position in the AUB? Now, you would think that he was because of the way he presented himself. Cody presented himself as a loyal believer and a leader. But the question is, but was he ever in line for a significant priesthood role? Okay. Was he ever in a position where they were actually going to make him part of the church's leadership? And even with that, like, according to him, oh yeah, they wanted me to become one of the leaders and seek higher positions within the church, but they wanted me to cut my hair, but I refused to do it. That tells me that no, he was not in a position to get promoted. When we talk about, and this is something that I talked about historically, okay, when we talked about him marrying and choosing to marry these women and it being a decision, not necessarily of love, can we acknowledge that by marrying the people that he married, there is a strategy to it, a strategy within the church? Now, if you're part of an organization, being an ambitious person, you might want to rise to the upper echelons of leadership within that organization, which means that you're entering into the polygamous faith. You find a woman that you need to marry. The woman that he was in close concert with was Mary, whose father had counseled him and helped to talk to him about polygamy and entering into the church and the things he needed to do. So here's a woman right here. She knows what the score is. She knows what the deal is. She knows we got to bring in extra wives. Okay, not bad looking. There you go. We're about the same age. There you go. So he makes that first marriage. Then, in order for him to be a polygamist, he has to have a second marriage. Here comes Janelle. Janelle's hanging at the house. She has her own position. She has money because she owned a house. They were renting a room from her initially. Mary and Cody were renting a room from Janelle. They met. He talks to her. He hangs out with her. He likes the conversation. Maybe a little attracted to her, because just so we could put things in perspective, Janelle was not a bad looking woman when she, as a younger person. She's not a bad looking woman now, but it was what it was. So he might have been looking at, okay. So he marries Janelle. Then the third wife that he took, positioning himself within the church, it certainly helps if you have the granddaughter of the prophet in your camp. So he very well may have been making these decisions early on to try to position himself within the church. Having two wives, from what I understand, is normal. Having three wives is a little less common. Having four wives, almost nobody has four wives. But the more wives you have, the more, oomph you pack. So he's walking in, young man, three wives. So he's trying to position himself. It just feels like it didn't work out the way he planned. The whole thing is that he might have been more of a charismatic face than an inside power broker, because he was the one who had the TV show and went for the TV show. Now, here's the thing, the fear of excommunication. Like the AUB has historically excommunicated members for disobedience or dissent, sometimes leading to wives and children being divided or separated from those particular people who are not worthy priesthood men. Now, the funny thing is, this isn't necessarily out of play. Like, I keep using the word reassign. I think I've used that word a couple times. But the thing with reassignment, that's something that you very well may see in more fundamental things. And we have examples of that in the FLDS under Warren Jeffs, that group. Where you had people, like, if a man wasn't doing the right thing by his wives, or the guys didn't like how the family was going, they didn't like the dude or whatever, they took his wives from him and gave them to somebody else, and so and so. We actually saw this in Big Love. There was a point where the prophet could reassign wives to somebody else. Oh, okay, I don't like Joe Blow, I'm going to take his wives from him and give them to such and such. So this is just something that we know about. Now, does it happen to AUB? I don't know. I'm not 100% certain. This is one of the things I want to talk to Mel and Corey about. The question is, did Cody see signs? Were there things that Cody was looking at where he was like, oh, shoot, bro, it's running risks. I might lose my family. It's kind of funny, too, because it might have been something that's really strikes me, because he was the way they kept talking about the state coming in taking their kids, but the state was never coming for your kids, because if they started doing that to you, they would have had to run all through Utah just ripping families apart, and they didn't have the facility to do it because, okay, fine, we take the kids, what are they going to do with the kids, right? So they weren't outwardly trying to do it. So they historically, Utah's prosecution, they had a thing where the DA's office, they had a rule where if the polygamy was charged as a secondary offense, meaning that they come to your house, say for fraud, right? You're committing welfare fraud. They show up, they hit you with the welfare fraud, and be like, oh, you got all these wives and all these kids running around. You didn't claim none of them. That's another charge, polygamy. They didn't come in and say polygamy first charge. We found out you're a polygamist. What else can we dig up? So that wasn't a practice. Now, that's not saying they couldn't do it, but that wasn't a practice. But if this was a thing that he was concerned about, then it might have been something that was on the forefront of his mind, but he just wasn't pressing it. So I think that was always there, which asks the bigger question: did the TV put him at risk? By putting his family on national TV, Cody may have stepped outside of the AUB's unwritten rules of secrecy, because he's letting people know what they have going on, and he's exposing the group. And I don't give a like, you can't tell me that even though you have people who, like, it's easy for me to say, oh, don't worry about it, they're not gonna get you, this state ain't even worried about you. But there are people who have grown up scared and are very afraid that Cody coming out and talking about polygamy does put the spotlight on them. And when people become aware, like, folks may know that it happens in Utah. Even people in Utah may know it happens. But the second you put it on TV and you're flaunting it and putting it in people's faces, you very well could have a DA or a person run for district attorney's office and says, you know what, I'm going to make it a policy position of my campaign that I'm going to clamp down on everybody who is a polygamist. And you do have people in the, and it's not that far-fetched, because you do have people who are in the LDS church, the Mormon church, who don't like polygamists at all, because they feel like they're a stain on them. They feel like you making us look bad. Everybody think that we polygamists too. We're not polygamists. And I can tell you this, just in my experience, that when you have somebody who's a part of a group and there may be negative stereotypes about that group, you don't like people who display or exhibit those negative stereotypes, because you recognize that those negative stereotypes may be washed over to you. They're not looking at them as individuals. People aren't looking at Cody Brown and saying, oh, this is just how Cody Brown and his family do. They saying that this is how polygamists do. And we've done that here on this channel. So, I mean, it's not that far-fetched. You know, and it's not to mention that, like, with all the like the secrecy aside, Cody, the Mr. I won't cut my hair, like, the publicity could be seen as prideful, rebellious, or a threat to the group's security. Like, you know, him sitting there saying that he won't even cut his hair or groom himself a certain way because he is who he is. They need to recognize who he is because he's the man. And then you give that guy a TV show, it may not be the best thing. Plus, not to mention, if we're going to also pull it in, you know, is there a threat to the current leadership of that group? Is there a possibility? Does he transcend, Cody Brown, does he transcend the actual group? And I say that, and I'll ask you guys this. And if you don't know, you don't know, right? What is the name of the current prophet of the AUB? We talk about the AUB all the time. We talk about them all the time. But even I had to go back and look up his name, David Watson. That's Melanie's dad, right? I had to go look it up. because I was like, well, shit, I guess I don't even know. What is her dad's name? Right? I just know her, Melanie, shout out to you. I just know him as Melanie's dad. That's Melanie's pop, right? That the current prophet is Melanie from Notes to Self 444. That's her father, right? That I just know him as Melanie's dad. That's it, right? But I should know, because as much as I covered it, and much as I talked about the AUB, I should know him. But the only person I really know, aside from Corey and Melanie, is Cody and the sister wives. So the fact that he was on the TV show could have created problems as far as the excommunication is concerned. Maybe he realized the church could turn on him, and it was drawing too much outside scrutiny as to why he actually left the church before he could be excommunicated. Now, Cody was not excommunicated from the church. If he was excommunicated from the church, he wouldn't have had to get Mary would have had to go down and get the separation from the church, the release from the church. Like, because he would have been excommunicated. He would have been booted out. So he wouldn't have been entitled to wives or whatever, as long as they wanted to stay in the church. It just would have been a paper issue. Now, that begs another question. Was he kicked out? But they called him, and he was able to go down to the church to argue his case or why he should be able to stay. And if that was the case, he wouldn't have been welcome in. Why would you come to the argument? You ain't a member here no more. So the question is, what was he afraid? Was Cody afraid that they take his family? Because if excommunicated, the AUB's theology could justify reassigning his wives or allowing his wives and his kids to be reassigned or brought into somebody else's family, especially if the wives chose to stay faithful to the church over him. So if, like, there's some rumor that Robyn is still in contact with the prophet, or if Christine was still cool with him, then that would be an opportunity where they could say, you know what? I don't believe in Cody. Cody is crazy. I want to stay with him. So did Cody see the risk and decide to preemptively distance himself to keep control over his family? And that's the big thing. Did Cody leave the church as a way to keep control of his family, not just to prevent from being excommunicated, but the full control of his family? Like the rank and file realization comes from this. There's another angle. Maybe he realized he was never going to climb that ladder. Like, he was never going to get higher. So what he did was he left the church and he went to Las Vegas. And if you remember, or if you recall, or maybe you don't recall, I talked about it a little bit. There are no churches in Las Vegas. Like, there are no branches out there. So when he went out to Las Vegas with his family, he was the Las Vegas chapter of the AUB, unofficial. And he had even said that we're going to have services and we're going to do our church thing every week. And if anybody comes to visit Las Vegas, they can come to our church. And if he would be, because it's his homes, his family, he would be the priesthead of that church, of that family. So he basically found himself a position, which I don't really blame him for. Like, he recognized that he wanted to get promoted and create an opportunity for himself. Right. So I think that's there. And we have to recognize, above everything else, Cody has a big ego, but the church is run by men who are deeply embedded with family connections going back generations. Like, these guys are in deep. Like, they're not like Cody. He did not grow up in the AUB. We have to be very clear with that. Cody didn't grow up in the AUB. He was not an AUB member from the time he was a child. He was in the FLDS. Not FLDS. He was in the LDS church. And his parent, while he was away on his mission, his parents had converted over to the AUB. And then when he got back, he had a choice to make. And then he converted to the AUB. And so his family even though his dad had set up, I think he wanted to set his ranch up and try to do something, offer his ranch to the AUB. Like, that was part of the deal he made when he entered into the church. They aren't a family of substance, we'll say. Like, they weren't the blue bloods of the AUB. That's where Christine comes in. Okay, technically, I think Robyn also kind of falls in that too, like a weird way. Her husband was I think related to Christine. in some, hanky janky way. And therefore her kids, whom he adopted, were actually part of that lineage. So he has connections to the hierarchy or the generations of the AUB through Christine and through Robyn's kids. At least that's my understanding. So the whole idea of like the show Sister Wives, that might have been like his alternative power play. If he couldn't rise in the priesthood, he built his own kingdom through TV. And to be honest with you, I think that that's what we were seeing. And I noted that like he had like uh thoughts of grandeur, because I said that thing about like him moving to Vegas and trying to create his own church. Then when his buddy from Vegas, the bald head guy, I forget his name escapes me, but he ran for mayor and he was trying to do political moves. All of a sudden Cody's on, I want my freedom, I thirst for freedom, and he's trying to give political speeches like he the Mormon Martin Luther King, and then, and then when he gets out to the place during the march and they speak it on the steps, the guy comes out and he's like, come on, Christine, you can speak. But you could tell Cody wanted to get up there and speak because this was going to be his opportunity to run for office. He even said when he was trying to get them to sell their houses that he wanted to run for office. He thought he could go back to Utah because that was a time when he was trying to convince everybody he wanted to go back to Utah, which made it even crueler because when he said, I want to go back to Utah. Maybe I want to run for office and take control of my own future, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I got the clip somewhere. And Christine was like, I'm not moving back to Utah. Everybody, no, I'm not moving back to Utah, which made it even colder was by the time that they moved out of Vegas to Arizona, they passed a bill which said that they were going to reduce the level of polygamy. And at that point, Christine was like, look, it's not a felony anymore. Let's move back to Utah. He was like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to move. So it was all about what he was trying to do, what he was trying to pursue. So why did Cody actually leave the AUB? It's never been really crystal clear when he formally left or when he cut ties with the AUB, or if it was if he just kind of quietly drifted. You know how it go. Sometimes you just stop showing up to church. You stop showing up to meetings, like start calling you like, hey, we've been missing your tithes. I mean, your presence. And sometimes that happens and across boards as far as churches are concerned. The show kind of hints that the Brown family became more independent over time and they didn't really need the church as much, or they didn't rely on the church as much, so they weren't really beholden to the church as much. Like his theological justifications on TV often sound more like personal spin than orthodox AUB doctrine, like how he interprets the book as opposed to how a person who is actually in the AUB may actually practice. And I think that there's a distinct difference because we kind of been groomed to understand the AUB through Cody's eyes or Cody's lenses, but that may not be how they do things or how they conduct themselves. So the question is, did he just trade one power structure for another? Ironically, by leaving or drifting from the AUB, Cody positioned himself as the ultimate authority in his family. And there's no bishop or priesthood holder above him. He is the end all be all of his family at that point. He became 100% responsible, which is different than if he was part of the AUB, because then he would be answerable to people. Just like when Mary went off to talk about why they broke up, Cody could have took his happy ass to Utah and had that conversation on why, things were the way they were. I think that he didn't go. Part of my suspicion is he didn't go not just because he didn't give a damn about Mary. He didn't go because he didn't want to have to sit in judgment of some other people by some other men. He didn't want to have these other men, because that's what it is. Let's be honest. He didn't want to have these other men sit over top of him and tell him that he did something wrong, or for him to feel like he had to justify his actions, beliefs, motivations, or how he conducted himself to anybody. So by separating himself from the church, that's what he was able to get. So when you start talking about like excommunication, I think that excommunication or departure, he would have welcomed it. So the question is, did he prefer being on being a TV patriarch over being the small fish in a bigger priesthood pond? Was he okay with just leaving being a big kahuna just over 20 some odd people, or did he want to just become the guy with 4 wives in row 16? And so that's kind of what he was faced with. I think a bigger question is like, where were the wives in this? It's interesting to ask where the wives equally worried about excommunication and reassignment, where they concerned that the family might get broken up, not from the state, but from the faith. Because once you start doing reality shows and people start seeing how you act and how you conduct yourself, and especially if they feel like you're conducting yourself not only negatively as a priesthood holder in the family, but you're conducting yourself negatively as an example of what the AUB is about, they very well could come in and be like, you know what, we're going to go ahead and strip you of your little wives. You a single man now, Cody, figure it out. So the question is, did they share his fears? Or was it Cody driving the narrative to keep control? Like, was he the one that was deciding what to do? So I guess my question for you guys, was this about protecting his family or protecting his power? Do you think Cody was like, I'm going to look out for my family, and so therefore we're going to drift away from the AUB leadership because I have some kids. I got a couple kids who have different sexual orientations. I got kids who may feel differently politically, whatever the case may be, so I'm going to protect them? Or was he trying to isolate and condense his power to make sure that he ensured his own power? Did Cody free his family from the church, or did he just free himself from accountability to anyone but himself? And I think that that's the true question. Like, when we start talking about how his departure went, was he okay with the departure from the church? Because at the end of the day, he don't want to have to answer anybody. But that was, I guess, a long roundabout way to answer the question that was submitted to me via email. Hopefully that answered your question. I obviously I sat down and really thought I wanted to do justice to it because I thought it was a good question. Let me see 1 second. I just wanted to jump into one, and it just disappeared on me. Okay. Yeah, I just what's this? Oh yeah, James. Oh yeah, definitely. There's definitely a reason for each marriage. Yeah. Like, I don't think his marriages were just serendipity. Like, I think that he actually planned that I'm going to marry this one, strategic reason. I'm going to marry that one, strategic reason. And I can see this ladder. And here's the crazy part. And I don't want to be a jerk when I say this, but I'm going to be a jerk. I guess it is what it is. If you don't have a lot of respect for your partners, and in Cody's case, as an example, don't know him personally, hypothetically, if he doesn't respect women and he didn't respect women at the time, he doesn't understand, or there's a possibility he didn't understand, that women are not interchangeable. You can't marrying one woman is not the same as marrying a different woman. Marrying one person, men are the same way. You can't marry one man and expect a different man or person, whatever. You can't people aren't interchangeable. Like, the things, like, if you have a woman, and I'm speaking from just my perspective, if I have a woman who's down for me and she ride with me and she supports me, I would be a stone fool. Looking at you, Cody. I would be a stone fool to leave that woman for somebody just because they're younger and think that younger, newer, fresher model still got the new car smell. Think that person is going to do the same thing for me that other person was doing. No. These are two different individuals. Life's goals, dreams, aspirations, expectations, all that different. So, where my old wife, she come in and she make sure I'm okay. If she see me sitting there looking sad because everybody have a bad day, and she see me having a bad day, she genuinely may come in and ask me, are you okay? Because she sees my happiness as beneficial to her future. We're tied together. She may see that as us being tied together. Whereas you get established on a TV show, you get some money, you got that paper coming in, you taking care of things, you handling your business. Do you get that young girl coming in? You dump your old wife. Oh, I just want something new. I want something fresh. You make me feel alive. I wiggle my toes when I'm sitting there watching movies with her. She come in, and when she asks you, are you okay? That's the preemptive. Are you okay? Because she's trying to figure out whether it's time to leave your ass. Did you get that? Did you get that credit card bill in the mail? Is that what you upset about? Did you find out I took out them loans against the house and I haven't paid none of them? Is that what you mad about? Right? Or did you find out about me and the pool guy or the mailman or the guy at the gym, the personal trainer, or the other guy at the gym who's my workout buddy, or the young lady? Everybody in town. She's doing everything. You know, so I think that Cody was in that position where he just thought that they were all the same. So when he made these plans to marry this one or marry that one, I don't think that he was as focused as to like, this person gives me this. This person can add this to my life. It's more or less, what position do they have? How much economic advantage could I get? What social advantage could I get by marrying this person? By marrying Christine, he was elevated in a certain social way within the church. Let me just get to the super chat because we got some super chat. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that little explanations. Got Negla 3 up in the house. What's up, Negla? How you doing? Became a member of YouTube member. Okay, thank you so much. Let me give you a little something. Congratulations. Welcome. All right. Negla 3. Negla's one of the OG triple OGs. Negla 3. $2 super chat. I've been saying that he used them for bankruptcy. Yeah. He was riding them. And I put out my video, like I dropped a video last night because I wanted to get something up. But I put up a video talking about, you know, when push down the shove, when Mary had said that she called you know, when she was talking about, oh, well, I wanted to prove to Cody and Robyn that I was contributing to the family. So I called in a CPA. Woman, what? What'd you say? You called a who? I'd have called a kick your ass. That's what I'd have. You come over my house talking some foolishness. That's some crazy stuff. Don't come over my house. If you, like I said last night, point one, if you ask me those kind of questions and my word isn't good enough, I got to go hire a professional to come in here and basically tell you what I've been telling you the whole time. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? And what you're not going to do, you know, are you a sister wife? And I asked this question in my video. Are you a sister wife or a sugar mama? Okay? Because basically the OG3 was just Robyn and Cody sugar mamas. Like he was tapping y'all out. He was tapping y'all out. And when he asked, you know, are you contributing enough money to the bank account? Are you dropping money in the family fund? He's asking you not because he's concerned about the family fund being liquid and having enough money to make sure he can take care of the family. More money, more profit. He could take more money up out of that account, the more money that's in that account. If I'm looking at going on a trip, I want to have spending money. So not only are you paying for him to go on trips, you buying plane tickets, hotel stays, car rentals, but you also putting some pocket change up in his pockets. You know, some spending money in his pockets. Bump that. So, yeah, I mean, he definitely used them and bankrupted all of them. And the one thing, like Dr. Honda, he did say, like somebody said, you got to watch him because he'll say some things, make you pull your hair out. I'll check it out. But he did say something I agree with 100%. You're a full-ass grown man. And if you have 18 kids and you say to yourself, I don't have the time, patience, I don't have the wherewithal, the means to take care of 18 kids. Here's a secret. Don't have 18 damn kids. Don't have 18 kids. You don't have to. You could blow your wife back out day and night. You could curl her toes as much as you want, but you don't have to get her pregnant every time you do it. You can take precautions. You can take precautions. You can't tell me, and please don't get, oh, well, you know, according to their faith, they don't never do that. They just hope for the best. You can't tell me because Robyn and him was messing around the whole time. Nobody got pregnant. Okay, fine. Mary, she struggled with fertility. She had fertility issues, you know, and I sympathize with that. But let's keep it all the way a buck. Christine was fertile. Janelle was fertile. Okay. Robyn was fertile. He dropped 2 in Robyn, he was done. And you can't tell me they only messed around twice. As much as he loved her and licking her picture. That guy? Twice. Please. Please. You know what it is. You know how to make these things work. You know how to make those kind of decisions. And if you don't want that many kids because you don't want to take that kind of responsibility, don't have those many kids. You know, before you get from 1 to 18, you start to get a sense of what's required. 1 to 18, you get a damn sense of what's required of taking care of some children. You don't know, oh my God, it just started getting hard after 15. No. If you ever raise a kid, I know many of you have, you ever raise a kid, you know what I'm talking about. That first kid, you start figuring that out. Like, this mother don't ever sleep. Oh, he sleeps. When you awake and you at work, yeah, he's knocked the hell out. She is unconscious, smiling their ass off. And then when you get home, they be like, up, work time, hitting the clock, keeping your ass up all night. No dozing coffee all evening. I'm in your ass and on your nerves. Yes, ma'am. That's how it works. And if you, from baby 1 to 15, you could figure that out, then you drop 3 more kids on top of it. And at that point, you've done everything because he had teenagers about to go to college and he had a baby, newborn baby. So you had the whole spectrum. There's no confusion as to what's required. And if you realize at that time, you know what? I don't like going over, especially you're not getting along. I don't really get along with Janelle. I don't get along with Mary. I don't get along with Christine. Stop pushing kids in them. Stop hitting that copy button. Like, I don't. Discipline. That's all I'm saying. Discipline. But thank you so much, Negla, and driving them all to bankruptcy. You know, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's the worst part about it. That's the thing that kills me. Like, he acts like it's on them. It's on them. Yeah, your kids, that's your responsibility. I got nothing to do with that. What? Unless it comes down to, this is going to be my next video, but unless it comes down to, I want to get more stuff. When it came time for him to justify having Robyn's big ass house, oh, it's because I got 18 kids. When it came time to sell the houses in Las Vegas, I got to think about the kids I got to put through college. I got kids, babies. I got to think about putting through college. I can't be sitting here making mortgage payments on houses in Las Vegas that he wasn't making mortgage payments on. I can't steal y'all money if you guys are using it to pay for mortgage payments for your place to stay. So no. Oh, your kid gets sick. Yeah, you better go ahead and put that medical bill in your name. Oh, you can't pay it. Bankruptcy. That's how actually Janelle fell into bankruptcy. Because Maddie had to get an appendectomy. And Christine fell into bankruptcy for similar reasons. You know, a lot of times it is tied to medical stuff. But thank you so much, Negla. Appreciate you. Welcome to the club. We have Heather Kelly, $5 super chat. No message, just the love. Okay, Heather. I see you. Heather. Get a little something. All right. And we have Negla 3 once again, $2 super chat. Think about it. Bankruptcy is financial and fam. Yeah. 100%. And he controlling all of it. Controlling the family fund unless there's money due. Oh, who got this family fund? Oh, that's a nice balance. I know that's all me, yo. That's all me. Hey, who's picking up this tab? Oh, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm just going to take my little family fun and get the hell on up out of here because I ain't got nothing to do with that stuff. Okay, bye. Like, that's how that kind of works. But thank you so much, Nagel. Appreciate you. We get a little something strong. Getting the start and stops. Apologize. But yeah, let's get to these. Let's get to some of these voice messengers. Got some good ones. Okay. Let's try Mary.
Hey, James, this is Mary. Hey, just wanted to check in again. I wanted to talk about Cody's friend Ken. When they were meeting up with him on season 8, they were, with some RVs and stuff at some vacation, and where Christine wanted an apology from Ken. The problem is we never seen the conversation between Cody and Ken. Cody's over here bragging Robyn up left and right, telling Ken he doesn't love the OG3 probably, or some other kind of conversation like that went on. There's a reason we didn't see the conversation between Ken and Cody prior. Cody thinks by coming back and saying Ken said to get rid of the OG3, keep one wife and come back to the church. Cody's thinking this is his play to get these 3 OG to start fighting even more for him, start pressuring more. They want him, they want him, they want him. So a couple things. Either A, the conversation, Ken never said it, and Cody can't get an apology because he never said it from Ken. Or B, he did say it because of what Cody was telling him all about Robyn. So I know Ken eventually apologized, but was that just a payoff from Cody? That's my guess. But let me know what you think. Bye.
Well, I think
hey,
that's
James,
a very
this is
good.
Mary. Hey,
Oh,
just wanted to check in again.
one quick
I want to
second.
talk about Cody's.
Got to take the loop off. But yeah, I think that's a good point. Like with Ken, for those who don't remember, Ken was Cody's friend from high school. They hung out together. He was a shorter guy, dark hair, skinny. They had the boat and they were hanging out. And apparently Ken had said, Ken was the one who was sitting there when the young ladies from high school was like, yeah, we didn't even know if Cody was straight or what was going on with Cody because he seemed kind of flamboyant. So that's where the whole like speculation from his orientation kind of started. But they were going across country in the caravans and the RVs. And Cody had talked about, yeah, we could meet up with Ken. And that's when Christine flipped out on him, talking about she didn't want to meet up with Ken because he said something that was very disrespectful. And she took it to heart, took it really personal. And she wanted Cody to defend the family because Ken had told Cody that if he divorced 3 of his wives, he could come back to the LDS church. And Christine took that as a great offense because, she loved polygamy so much and she was defending her family. Here's the jacked up part about it. I'm not going to doubt the veracity in which Christine wanted to defend her family. However, I think, there's a point where hit dogs holler. Okay. And I think that because Christine was in the position she was in with Cody, and she understood, even then, Christine understood, Mary, Janelle, all of them understood that if Cody was forced to choose one wife, it wasn't going to be none of them. Okay. I think they all understood that. I think Christine knew that, it was just another reminder to her that Cody has a favorite wife. It's not her. And if he did want to go back to the LDS, if he was tempted to take Ken up on his offer and drop 3 wives, she was getting dropped and her kids were getting dropped. And I think that that's what was the root of what bothered her and why she was so animated about it. Do I think that she might have taken, now this is to say, again, I think she might have been insulted by Ken taking that position or bringing that or presenting that to her. Yeah, absolutely. I think that she'll be within her rights to be upset about somebody questioning her family. But why she took it so personal, I think that's why. but let me see. But thank you so much. That was a great point. Then we have Mary again. Let's hit Mary again and see what Mary had to say.
Hey, James. Hey, I just wanted to get your take on the Nepo babies. Robyn's 3 oldest kids. As adults, they're in their 20s now. What is the math? Like, what's going on with their expenses, etc.? Do they have credit cards in their names? Is Robyn handing over cash left and right? Like, how is this working? Because it just doesn't make any sense. How are they putting gas in the car, going fast food without working at all? And maybe they do, and I just don't know it, but I just can't believe that they're just so far behind right now, not being in the workforce, even a part-time job, even working at an ice cream shop. At least with that, you have so many responsibilities, but Robyn and Cody not working a real job, they don't understand any of the struggles that are going to come to them. For example, you have to be to work on time. You have to look decent. Can't use your phone. You have responsibilities, even in an ice cream shop. You're ringing up the correct sales. You're cleaning up. You're putting money in the till, etc. And you also have this great friend relationships you develop with your coworkers. So they're just missing out on so much, and they just gain so much independence working a separate job. But let me know what you think.
All right. So when it comes to Robyn's kids, to be honest with you, I don't know nothing about them. Which, to I guess maybe to Robyn's credit by not including the kids into the show, but I just don't know. I don't know if they work or they don't work. I don't know how they get their money. I don't. I agree. Just from my personal experience, I agree that I think that there's a certain level of pride when you are able to do certain things for yourself when you're employed. Especially as a young person, you start to develop that independence. One of the things that you kind of struggle with that, as a parent, it can be a little hard, is understanding that, no matter how cool you are with your kids, at the end of the day, you might bump heads at some point because you are the gateway to their adulthood. They have to go through you in order to become independent and become adults. And part of that independence is their ability to buy things. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I'll use myself as an example. I was going to use my daughter, but I'll use myself as an example. When I was a young man and I got my first job, right? And of course, video games were way cheaper when I was younger. My first, not my first video game, but my first time I bought this video game that I really wanted was $79.99. It was a Nintendo SEE or SEC. That first Nintendo, $79.99. Never forget it. And I worked a job that I was getting paid $1.50 an hour. $1.50. Like back in the Stone Age when we was riding dinosaurs to work. And eventually, I got a bump because I became the supervisor, so I was getting $2. But I bought that game myself. Like my first game, I bought, and then I bought the couple extra games, which back then I think it was like $10, $20. But I did that. I bought 2-3 games, and so to me that was a big deal. And I never forgot that. It was a big deal for me to get that first video game and pay for it myself. And I took a lot of pride in that, and I think that that's what you're trying to teach your kids. It's not so much you trying to teach them how to work, because they're going to have the rest of their lives to work somewhere and work for somebody potentially. But what you're trying to teach them is the pride of ownership. Also, I got to learn about budgeting. Okay. Cause I couldn't go out because to $1.50 for real, like $2. Like movies were cheaper then, but I mean, not by much. So I had to make decisions. I couldn't do everything I wanted to do because I wanted to save money, because I had an objective I wanted to achieve. And that's one of the things I learned by doing it that way. And that's what I think that Mary was referring to when she talked about like ownership and working and things like that, and the importance of it. Yeah, I think working is important. Yeah, I think it does add something. I think that there's a certain honor in it. Um, would I be surprised they're not working? No. I mean, not everybody has to work. I mean, Robyn very well may look at it like, James, that's because you was raised to struggle. My kids will go live in the laps of luxury because we're millionaires and they don't need to know how to work. They need to know how to boss people around. To each his own. Just work saying it worked for me. Ellie, what's that? What you say? You old, James. My first legal job at 14, paid taxes, paid $1.20 an hour, minimum wage. I think that in the early 70s. Well, I'm not that old, but I can tell by my gray whiskers that I'm not new. I've been around, I also worked in the church. Quiet as kept. I worked in the rectory. I was a receptionist in the rectory. So it wasn't as let's just say I didn't pay any taxes on that. I think I'm fairly confident in saying that now because statute limitations have run on it. But we were totally paid under the table. We used to get our money in an envelope. Like that's how they did it. Yeah, but I grew up in the Catholic Church. I worked in the rectory is where the priests live. It's connected to the at least in my particular parish or church. It's connected to the office. So when people come, that's where you set up the funerals, weddings, baptisms, so on and so forth, confirmations, all that set up through the office. I would set those up. Also, I have to answer any phone calls. Like so, when calls came in, and I worked in the evening from like 6:30 to 9:30. So when calls came in, I would answer those calls. We called for the priest, personal calls or business calls, answer any questions if people were curious about hours of service or whatever. I would do that. Set up for parish council meetings, things of that nature. So yeah. But yeah, they paid us nothing. We got paid nothing. Got paid buckets. It was garbage. But yeah. I mean, it was, but see, the thing is that it wasn't so much about the pay as much as it was learning responsibility. I mean, shit, I worked at my grandfather. He owned a corner store. We were sweeping that store. We were stocking shelves, running cash register. And this is back when he didn't want us using the cash register because my grandfather had a rule that your bag is your receipt. So we would get the paper bags, like the brown paper bags, and we would have to write like everything that was on it. Like, so if you got bologna or whatever, because he had you do deli meat and stuff too. So you're like, okay, you got a pound of this, it was this price, and you got sodas or whatever, potato chips, and you'll write it all on the bag with the prices. You have to add it all up. So I knew how to do long form addition. By the time I was like 7 or 8, whatever, you know what I mean? Because we worked the store. So, but yeah. But that was like my first outside job where somebody else was paying me other than family. Well, technically, my grandfather didn't pay us. He paid us in food. Like, see, you got to eat. He had the privilege of eating a meal and watching TV. But he was serious. He was a good dude. But yeah. But yeah, I guess I don't know. Yeah, now if you try to pay somebody $1.50 now, you might be going to prison, Jack. Like they fought the whole war over that shit. You're not paying nobody $1.50. Do we have oh, I don't like these. Let me see. I guess the next caller we have. Let's do we'll do Gloria.
Good morning, James. This is Gloria, longtime listener, first time caller. There was a couple of points I wanted to make. I should have written them down. But with this last tell-all, and well, with all the tell-alls, they don't hit the points that are like important to talk and ask questions about. And one, it's like, why didn't I don't know if they made like a deal not to talk about the kids. I know they weren't going to talk about Garrison's passing, which is fine. But why didn't they talk about Maddie talking with Leon about Robyn's kids and how they're sorry and they would love to bridge that gap? They don't never give any of the OG kids credit and recognizing that they want those relationships with Robyn's kids. Was that something that Cody and Robyn put the kibosh on and said, no, we're not going to talk about that? Like, or why are they letting them refuse to answer? They always talk about, like, I don't care that Cody accidentally rubbed into Mary when he was moving. That whole thing was just so illogical, nonsensical, waste of time. I didn't care about that. Why didn't you talk about what Maddie said about those relationships? That could have been a relationship the kids could have had.
I don't disagree. See, the thing is that when it came to like Cody, I think that whole thing was staged. Like if it wasn't staged to try to look cute for the screen, because as they were, if you look at the trailer, if you look at the back of the trailer, when Nate was pushing the bike up the ramp and Mary was backing up, if Cody saw Nate backing Mary up and he totally didn't want to be, have that woman put her hind parts on his lap, he could have just cut to the right. He could have stepped over to the right, and Nate would have ran her into the cabinet if that's what he did, or he would have slowed down or stopped. But he totally could have avoided it. And like all the giggling, like ha 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 ha, ha while they're still like, he's just ramming her into Cody. Ha 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 ha, and he grinding up on her booty. Like, this ain't a high school dance. Okay, we grown folk. All right, especially if you know that this, like, how cruel is it? Because they took it as like, oh, this is so funny. Height of comedic timing. Like, how cruel is it if you know, like if I'm really attracted to a person, right? And they know and their friend knows that I'm really attracted to them. And not only am I attracted to them, I've shared my feelings and you've rejected me summarily. Out of hand, you rejected me. Nope, there's no way, no possibility, no chance, no way, no how this is going to happen. And then I find myself in a situation where you're backing that person up on me in a sexual manner, because that's what it is. Okay, it's not cute, it's not funny, it's sexual. That's what it is. And then all of a sudden, that's the joke. The joke isn't that, ha ha ha, I'm backed up. I backed this person up into you. Look at this. It's funny because you guys look like you doing it. Do, do, do. The joke is, he wants to. In this case, she wants to do it. And Cody, you're repulsed by her. The more disgusted he is by her, the funnier the joke is. That's what the joke is. Right? So I think that, like, if they're going to talk about it, I don't mind them having a conversation about it. But my question would be, when Nate did that, I was ready to punch him in the throat because it's disrespectful to Robyn. Okay, what about you punching Nate in the throat because it was disrespectful as hell to Mary? Like, why aren't you offended for Mary? Like, or the fact that, like, look, me and Mary are in a good place. If there was a young lady who I wasn't attracted to, and she said she was really attracted to me, and somebody put her in that position, I would be upset. Like, man, we're in a good place, and we're here. I'm helping her, and I'm doing the things I need to do, and I think that we could have a friendship. And here you are, you're humiliating her. Why would you do that? Like, that's disrespectful as shit, as far as I'm concerned. And he should have, like, Cody should have said something to his friend about that. Like, man, that's disrespectful as hell. You realize that you hurting her feelings because she doesn't want it like that. She wants me to want her. She doesn't want to get pushed into me. She doesn't want to feel like I'm like, oh, this is disgusting. Back up on me. Ugh. She doesn't want that. Who does? I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want some girl who I'm attracted to, a woman I'm attracted to sit there and act like she's disgusted by me. And it's funny now because when you put us in a compromising situation, and now I get to sit there and what, laugh it off. Ha ha ha. Yeah, this is great. Reminds me how you don't want me and you don't think I'm attractive. Come on. So if that's what they were going to talk about, I could have gotten behind the fact that they talked about it in that respect, but they didn't, like she had mentioned. And as far as why didn't they talk about what Maddie said as far as wanting to get through to the kids? If anything, them putting that on air might have violated some of the rules that Robyn has, because I don't think Robyn wants the kids to know that these kids miss her kids. I think she's trying to block that out and pretend like it doesn't happen. And if they did try to mention that during the course of the tell-all, I firmly think that Robyn would have got her ass up and walked off. I think Robyn would have left. I think she would have left. If they bring her kids up and they're not talking about like the little cutesy stuff that Cody was doing or going out on the well, because they weren't supposed to talk about anything connected to Big G's. So if they would have talked about it from respect of, when she got baptized or that's all they really did this. She didn't even do shit this season with her daughters. We talk about dating boys. Oh, boys, ha ha ha, and joining the church, ha ha ha. They didn't say, they could have brought up her. They didn't even bring that up because I think they would have been willing. Robyn and Cody would have been willing to talk about that, but I don't think they would have been willing to talk about it in connection to, did you guys think about inviting Maddie down to this big event for her? Because Maddie wants to get in touch with her, says she wants to reach out to her, that kind of thing. I think if anything, Robyn's blocking that. So that's where I'm kind of at with it, Gloria. Gloria had another one. Here, let's listen to this one.
Another topic that they didn't bring up was the sister wife's closet, when Mary said that fans or customers reach out to her about orders getting kicked back or not receiving them. Why didn't they ask Robyn at the tell-all, why is it that you're saying that customers sneak in an order? Why doesn't she just shut down the cart completely? Why is that the customer's fault? And why isn't she taking accountability? Why don't they ask Robyn, you always say we messed up here. What can we say? What you did wrong? How did you mess up? What could you have done differently to have a different outcome from the falling out of the family? Thank you.
Yeah, I think that would have been an interesting topic. But she probably had that. Don't talk about no sister wife closet stuff because I'm trying to get to them their stuff, and that's currently under litigation. I'm not answering sister wife closet questions. And I think that would have been a good topic. I think it would have been kind of curious, but I don't think Robyn is trying to play the whole idea that I had no idea, because that's her default. Like, I didn't know nothing about it. And if they sent an email, I never got it. And that's a communication that Mary had. I don't understand. If she would have let me know, I would have dealt with it, because I'm serious about my business. And I closed the site down. I had no idea. So I think that would have been part of it. And so there was a last part of that. Hold on a second. Oh, the weed stuff. Yeah, I'd addressed the whole idea, like the French aspect of her speech patterns. Because by saying we, and here's the crazy thing, and this is just my personal observation. Anytime people says we, there's an issue. It can either be a passive aggressive way for them to say you, and they don't want to come right out and say it's your fault or you did such and such. So they try to soften it by saying we got to do better. We got to, right? There's also the point where when they say we, what they mean to say is you. And when Robyn says we, I think she means you. We didn't do good as a family. We fell apart as a family. Because anytime something is Christine's fault, Mary's fault, Janelle's fault, she'll say their names. That's them. They're making up lies. I think Christine is making up stories again. She don't say we're making up stories about each other. Christine is making up stories. Mary's not telling the truth. Janelle is confused or she's messing with the money. When it comes to Cody and Robyn, we all mess up. When have we all been perfect? We all do. No. We all could do better. No, tell me what you did, what you can do better. I agree with that follow-up. Like when you say we messed up, what were your contributions? Because you don't want to talk about them, and I understand that because, you don't believe in going back and trying to rewrite history. So what did you do to make the family fall apart? What was your part? What was your angle? And I have the feeling that, be honest with you, that bullshit tactic that people use during people use all the time during job interviews. Like if you had one bad thing to say about yourself, what would it be? My one negative point, that I care too much. I work too hard. I don't know when to quit. I work till the job is done. I become obsessed to make sure all my assignments are completed to 100% and perfected. Because that's who I am. What's your downside? Oh, I do too good of a job. Like that kind of stuff. And I think that's where Robyn is going to find herself. If you asked her and cornered her and said, give us a reason as to why the family fell and what was your part in it, she would just say, oh, I cared too much about the family and I wasn't willing to let it go. Maybe that's some dumb shit like that. So, and this is kind of where I'm struggling, to be honest with you. This is where I'm struggling with the show. Because most of the stuff, they're not even, at this point, I don't even think that they're trying anymore. They're not even trying anymore. Robyn and Cody have been mailing this shit in the whole time. They've been mailing it in. Robyn don't even come up with a good lie anymore. Like, that's how bad it is. She don't even come up with a good damn lie no more. She don't put no effort into her stories, her lies and stuff. She just say what she gonna say. Oh, well. Oh, well. It is what it is, guys. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. We did everything wrong, and I missed the family. I want to try to keep us all together. You gonna watch the videos? You gonna watch the clips? No, I'm not gonna watch the clips. I'm not gonna participate in this tell-all at all until it's something that I want to talk about or I find interesting. Here's one from Seriously?
Hey James, I was just wondering if anybody has thought about what the next phase of Sister Wives is going to be for the OG3. And I don't mean a spin-off or the cancellation of the show, but we've seen it time and time again that reality stars, when their show fades or they start to transition, they end up on Dancing with the Stars. So, do we think that any of the OG3 are going to end up on Dancing with the Stars? They all appeared to like to dance. That was a primary focus of their gatherings, kind of like the mosh flash dance type thing. So, just a little fun question. What do you think? Who will end up on Dancing with the Stars?
Okay. Who's going to be on Dancing with the Stars? My prediction. Here's my prediction. We can eliminate Janelle because she's too shy. And they try to get her to do a dance, and she didn't even want to do the choreographed dance. Mary, I can see her wanting to do it, but I don't think she has the confidence to do it. No shot on Mary, because I mean that show is hard because you get up there, you're dancing by yourself and it's not just going out dancing for fun, like you're doing segmented dancing. So I don't think she would do it. Christine, I can see her trying to do it, but based on her responses before and some of the things she's even said about herself before, I don't think she would take it serious enough to where she would have to, because it's a commitment. It's a major commitment for you to do that show. It's not something you just kind of go out one time and be like, all right, we're going to do the foxtrot. And you just go out and do it. Like, you have to do the whole choreography, keep showing up for practices. Those could be difficult. So I don't really see Christine doing it. That's the OG3. With Robyn, I don't see her doing it because that would be something else for the fan base to laugh at her about. And she, she's very sensitive about how people see her now. So I don't really see her doing it, in fairness. She would want to do it. Like if she could do a show where she could talk and give her perspective without being challenged, I think she would do that show. Cody is probably the only one who would sign up to do it, but I don't think he would last past the first elimination. Like he might make maybe the first 2 eliminations just on name recognition and be like, let's see what he'll do next, to keep him around if there's somebody worse. But yeah, I just don't see him. Like I don't see any of them really doing Dance with the Stars. Now, could I see them doing like villains or whatever reality show they have? Yeah. I could also see a scenario where, Bravo, they have that thing where they did like the Next Generation, or I don't even know what the name of the show is, but they have basically they have like shows, kids from the different reality shows that they have. They brought them on to do their own reality show. And I could see some of the brown kids possibly being cast because TLC, I'm sure at some point will try to do the same thing to mirror Bravo. And I can see Robyn trying to push her kids into doing it because it'd be a way for her to get those checks and for her to be able to kind of be in that limelight without having to fully step into the line of fire. Because I think that they do enjoy like the position that they play now where they're kind of off to their own and they're able to talk about other people's issues without having to actually put themselves on the line and talk about their own. Yeah, let me know if you guys agree or disagree in the chat. Some people are like, you're crazy, James. Speaking of chats, let's do some super chats. We have Teresa Skinner, 1999 Super Stickle. Thank you, Teresa. Appreciate you. You are awesome. Teresa Skinner, again, one of the OG, triple OG. Yeah, Teresa's in the house. Erica MF, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Christine said she wasn't going to do next season of Sister Wives. Oh, did she? Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Wowie. Wowie, 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 wow. Wow. If Christine doesn't want to do Sister Wives, oh, you done blow. There's a phrase in football and soccer. Football, depending on what part of the world you're in, I guess. Blowing a hole in the coverage. Like that will blow a hole in the coverage. That'll mess the lineup. If Christina's off Sister Wives, Jack, that messes the lineup. Oh, whoo. Yeah, that would be rough. That means everybody else got to step it the hell up. Because a lot of what we've been watching technically has been Christine centric. Like since season 16, it's really been Christine centric. So, shit. Thank you so much, Eric. I got to look into that. Ooh, pulling my coattails. Let me know what's going on. Oh. Tie up in the house, 99 super chat. Christine has mentioned she wants to do Dancing with the Stars. Yeah, I think Christine would say that. I can totally see that. And I'm not going to dispute that at all. But my thing would be, I don't know if she'd be willing to do what's necessary to do Dancing with the Stars. Like, because it's not just going, like I said, it's not just going out dancing. Like, you have to show up to practices. And it's a lot of practices. And in some cases, it's you learning how to dance, not just you going out doing a freestyle Freaknik. Like you have to 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8. Like this, I don't know if she's ready for that. But I mean, if she's willing to do it, I'll check it out, watch her do it. I mean, who knows? She might be. I'm sitting up here doubting her. She might be the bomb. Like she might win the whole damn thing. You never know. Especially she's from what I understand, she's experienced some significant weight loss. So that'll make her lighter on her feet. Like she's probably feeling pretty good, energized. She said she was feeling great. So you never know. She might want to take that new frame, put it into something slinky, and get tossed around, by some of them super fit dudes out there. But I'm sure either way, after watching Cody dance, the way he used to throw them women around, grip them and just throw them and pull them and yank them and, jerk them and all that. And he called that dancing. I'm sure when she get with these Dancing with the Stars professionals, she like, it's like dancing with a feather pillow. They so gentle, so soft. This is nice. And she's getting tossed around, She spent most of the dance upside down, but them guys is like so cool with it and so smooth with it. You don't even realize there's a transition. Cody, all right, let's get out there and dance. He yank you out there, and he yank you back, and he yank you around and spin you and throw you down like he dipping you, and he throw your ass across the dance floor, and then he hop around by himself for 20 minutes. Like, because even even Robyn said that. She said that when she goes out dancing with him, they'd have to take some kind of lessons because he doesn't dance with you. He dances at you. And folks who ever been to a club or certain parties or whatever, you see that sometimes, like person will get out there and they start dancing. They're not dancing with you, just kind of there so that they're not there by themselves, but they are basically dancing alone. Seen that before. So yeah. Thank you, Ty. Joe. Hey, remember Cody had to win. Yeah, child. That's what I'm talking about. Cody is rough. There was a short I had where they were talking about, like, right after Cody came out and said, "Yeah, I've never been to a bar before," and then I had a video of Cody at the bar, like somebody shot him, surreptitiously. Him and Robyn, they come into the bar, and he takes her out dancing, throwing her all over the floor. I was like, this is violent. Like, he dances violent, Jack. I've seen mosh pits with less violence in them. It's crazy how rough he is. So let's do the next Wendy. Let's do Sam.
Hey, James. I am listening to your July 3rd show, and I just want to comment on Cody and Robyn wanting their own show. I don't actually believe that. They don't want to share anything about themselves. They don't want to share about their relationship. They don't want to share about their family. They don't want to share their home. I think they are addicted to the money reality TV can bring, but don't want to do actual reality TV. I think that they would be pushing for reconciliation with the OG3 so that they stay on the show and they can just keep having B-roll footage of Robyn and Cody outside at a campfire.
Right. I could see that. The only exception I would make is that when I say that I think they want their own show, I'm not saying it from the respect of the perfect reality show setup. So essentially, when I say they want their own show, they want their own show and they want to have production, final say, final edits on their show. They want to create their own storylines. They want to act those storylines out, and then they want the producers to give them final edit to make sure that those scenes come off the way they want them to come, the way they want or the way they intend. That's what when I say that they want their own show, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like them doing like an expose where they start showing off their real life. Like no. I mean, do I think that if they could sit in the cut and keep making money off of the OG3, would they do it? Yeah, I think they would do it. But I don't think that that's their preference, because I think that ultimately it's like just looking at their mentality. And you can let me know if you agree with me or you disagree with me, which is fair. But just looking at it from their mentality, it's not enough that they win, but they want their wives to lose. It's the same approach Robyn had when she entered into the relationships with Cody and the OG3. It wasn't enough that she's in there and we're all winning and I have my own house and I have stuff and I have money and I'm on a TV show. It's that I want to be better. I want to be better than you as wives. I want to be the best wife. I want to be the best mom. I want to be the young mom. I want to be the pretty mom. I want to be the mom that the sister wife that everybody loves and everybody admires and everybody wants to be like. That's what I think that she wanted for herself. And I think that part of the reason why she dislikes the OG3 as much as she does, especially Christine, is because Christine has always kind of pushed herself into the forefront of the sister wife storyline. And she is between Christine and Janelle, they fluctuate between the two of them of being the most popular sister wives on the show. And I think that that's part of the reason why there's so much vitriol against Christine. It's not because she has the kids, because clearly Cody doesn't give a shit about the kids. Because if he cares so much about the damn kids and wanting the kids around and Christine took the kids, he picked the damn phone up and called his kids. So it's not the kids. It's the show. Like, you took the show away. You're leaving and you're taking my show. Like, I think that that's what he's concerned about. When he talk about her leaving and taking his money, that's what he's talking about. That damn show. So I think that if they could find a way to do a show without, and I agree with you on this, I for sure agree with you 100% on this. Do a show without revealing too much about themselves, without getting into their private business, while making themselves look good and be admired and being the stars of a show and make all the money, especially if they can exclude the other wives and their lives go to shit because they're no longer on the show and can't pay their bills. I think they would do that in a hot New York minute. 100%. I think they would do it. But yeah, if it comes down to it, like kind of the premise that you set, if it was required of them when they did the show to all of a sudden they couldn't, they had to get, start inviting the cameras into their house. They actually had to do the confessionals. They actually had to answer questions during the tell-off. No. I think you're 100% right on that front. I think I 100% agree on that. There's no way they signing up for that shit. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people who feel that way. There's nothing I will watch with them in it, especially as the stars. Like they would have to turn to something. Like, it would have to be something crazy. I just don't see it. I mean, but then again, who am I? Clearly, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not in the TLC room. Certainly not in the right room. Was this unlimited lipstick? Janet 689 super chat. Some say people dance when they dance the way they bone. No surprise that Cody is a terrible and cringy dancer. Yeah, I've heard that. Even when I was in high school and stuff, like how you dance is how you make love. Cody's rough. He's rough on a partner. And I guess it does make sense because, like I said, a lot of his dance moves are pretty much there for his own edification and for his own gratification. So he's not really trying to serve his partner and not really looking out for it. So there might be something to that. Just saying. So, but thank you so much. Just poke a little fun, Cody. Don't take it personal. We're probably mad as hell. What? I'm a good dancer. Sure you are, boo-boo. Yes, you are, Cody. You a good dancer. Don't let nobody discord you. Hate that baby talk shit. All right, but don't you talk like no baby. We had a couple. Let me see. What's that? Janet.
Hey James, it's Janet again. I don't know if this will be too late to put in just because I'm watching the live right now. It's really funny. um I just wanted to say also that um I don't think that it's fair for um Robyn to ever like talk to the other wives about their experiences as if she can understand when she was the favorite and she came in last. And so until Cody goes and finds a younger model and spends all his time with her and dotes on her children, maybe has more children with her and is always over at her house and gives her more money, that's the only situation where we can really hear from Robyn, or should hear from Robyn about what it's like to experience, you know, polygamy. Um, that would be the only way, and that's not going to happen because he said it isn't going to happen. But it's really, really like irritating to hear her talk about, Counselor Robyn, as Janelle will call her, to try to tell everybody, it's just you're thinking about my apple when you have an orange, and it's like, bitch, you can't understand how any of them feel until it happens to you.
You don't know what to do until it happens to you. I 100% agree, Janet. And I think that there's an interesting point too with that is just the fact that Robyn had always been so quick to talk about her perspective and how she feels about polygamy. But she had, at the time she got married, she had as much experience with polygamy as I did, as I do. And when even after she was married, you were married into this relationship as a wife that Cody would do anything for. So your struggles and your reality was nowhere near what these women were dealing with. You were giving advice to them from the perspective of a person who could do whatever she could do whatever she wanted. And Cody would sit there and try to negotiate with her, talk to her to try to figure out the best way to move forward. When you talk about like Christine, there was a point, I think it was in the book where Robyn had talked about how her and her family celebrated Easter. And in the Brown family culture, they did not celebrate Easter. Robyn told Cody, well, since you don't celebrate Easter, what I'm going to do is my family does, my kids do, even though I'm your wife, I'm going to pack my kids up and we're going to go over to my mom's house for Easter. Guess what happened, y'all? Cody said, no, baby, don't leave me. Don't leave me, baby. Please don't leave me. So now all of a sudden, the Brown family celebrates Easter. Okay. But what's funny is that in season 16 or season 17, when Cody was talking to Janelle and he was chastising her for being an independent woman, making single woman decisions, one of the things he criticized her about was, how you going to go celebrate the holidays without your husband? That's a single woman decision. That's not a married woman decision. Do you think he had that same attitude when it came to Robyn? Do you think he talked to Robyn? You ain't going to your mama's house on Easter. That's a single woman decision. You're married. This is your family. You're going to stay here with us. And no, we're not celebrating no damn Easter because I already told my family we're not celebrating Easter. I got 3 wives. I already told them we ain't celebrating no Easter. Not celebrating Easter, not celebrating Halloween. They didn't celebrate Halloween either. So Robyn came in the family. They didn't have ear piercings, so Robyn came in the family. There's a lot of stuff that Robyn changed once she came into the family because she was in an exalted, different position than the other wives. And the fact that what annoys me isn't the fact that, like, because I'm part of the world, and the one thing the world does hate is love, right? That's not true. That's not true. I love love, but I love love the right way. And how you get your man and your woman is how you lose your man and your woman. Quick note. But what I don't like is the fact that you have an advantage and you aren't thankful or grateful or even cognizant of the advantage that you have, yet you're going to not only not be grateful and take your advantage for granted, but you're going to stand in judgment of people who don't have that same advantage. And look at them and say, I don't understand why you can't do what I do. If you were born on third base, you don't get to look at somebody who's got to start from the beginning in their life. They start all poor. They maybe don't have parents. They got to work their way up. They got everything they work for, everything they get, they had to work for. They had to script, save, struggle, cry, fight the whole time in order for them to get a little bit. You born on third base, your mama, is a millionaire. Your daddy is like has a company. Your mama, she's from a long line of people having companies. Daddy, the same thing. And then all you had to do was graduate high school and be able to spell your name correctly. And all of a sudden you're a vice president. In order for you to take the companies over, all you have to do is be able to add 3 plus 3. And then you get a whole company. Now you are $500 million. And you're going to look at the person who had to work for everything that they got, struggle, get through high school without, back and forth the whole 9. And they had to work and pay their way through college. And because they came through college and then they get a job in the mailroom, you're going to look at them and say, I don't know why you can't pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Are you crazy? You know what I mean? Are you crazy? And that's where I think Robyn is at. Like, she came in with a certain level of privilege. Cody liked you. Cody wanted to be with you. Cody would do anything to satisfy you and keep you in the fold and keep you in the family. So if she ever would have threatened, fuck it then, I'm leaving. Then Cody, whatever I got to do to change your mind. And that would have been that. So I think that's a good point. Now I got some burners come in. We're gonna burn the house down. As a matter of fact, let's get Janet in again because Janet has another good one.
Hey James, it's Janet. To answer your question about polygamy and is it just Cody that we all like don't agree with, and I think the thing is Cody's not mature enough for polygamy, and Cody added another wife 10 years after he was already like married to the other ones for a long time before then. And instead of being honest with himself and honest with them about the fact he fell in love with Robyn, he felt differently about her, and that resulted in him treating her better. Him and Robyn could have acknowledged what was going on and that he felt differently about her and was not able to treat the other ones fairly. But instead of doing that, they just kept going with the show. It's not like they didn't have time, you know. This was 19 seasons later. They had plenty of time to acknowledge the fact that he felt differently and he wasn't able to give the other wives the same treatment because he was in love with Robyn, and that affected his behavior and it affected his treatment of them. And instead of admitting that, accepting that, going on and being happy together, him and Robyn could have lived happily together, realizing it's not fair to the other wives. They didn't, and they sucked the other wives dry of resources as much as he says they did that to him, and that is unethical and wrong.
I think that's fair play. Just in the sense that they weren't like Cody. I don't think he was ready from the start to do polygamy, which is a shame. It was just something that he saw, he wanted without thinking about it, thinking it all the way through or considering it all the way through. Is something he pursued. And I think that a lot of it just came down to this is what you're supposed to do as a polygamous man. This is what you're supposed to do. And he kept falling into that trap. Now, unfortunately, he created 18 lives or 13 lives in doing that. And then he also married 3 women in doing that. And, thank goodness they were able to get this show and things turned out the way they did. But this is kind of where I tap into the larger source and say that not everybody who finds themselves in this situation has the benefit of getting a new show or has the benefit of owning their house when they realize that the person that they married doesn't love them or isn't taking care of them the way they should. And when they separate, they basically leave with the clothes on their back as opposed to leaving with a full house that they own, a home that they own. So I mean, I think that that's part of the struggle. But yeah, I think that, this, what Jenna was referring to was, I put out a video saying, was my prejudice or bias against polygamy based on Cody Brown and what we saw here, or is it just something that I have, or is polygamy just wrong? So that was one of the things I talked about. Thank you so much for that. Next up, we have Sam.
Hey, James. I am listening to your July 3rd show, and I just want to comment on Cody and Robyn wanting their own show. I don't actually believe that. They
Hey James, Tanya Kata. I just had a thought. What if Robin didn't want her children to assimilate, really? I mean, she says she did, but purposely kept her kids away from the OG3 because kids talk. And we all know that not only was Cody at her house 24/7 on the cul-de-sac, but they probably were locked up in that bedroom all day long. And if her kids were comfortable enough to be hanging out at the other parents' houses or the other wives' houses with their kids, they would have talked to me like, "Oh yeah, dad and mom are always in the room, and dad's always over at our house, and they stay in the room all day." And then that would have gotten back to Christine and Janelle, and there would have been drama on the cul-de-sac. And I'm just wondering if it was more of, I can't have these kids talking to each other and them knowing what's going on, so I have to keep my kids separate. Thoughts?
Yikes. My thoughts, because I'm a bad boy. Look, I don't know if I said, if you guys couldn't hear me, I saw some twos pop up. But yeah, that was Tanya Kata, Mrs. Kata. Yeah. You know what? I had said that I don't think that Robyn wanted the kids around, mostly because I used the other tie the other way, that I didn't think that she wanted them to have a connection to Christine and them, in that way, see them as full mothers. Like, that's your mama, that's your mama, that's your mama, but it's kind of a name only thing. But yeah, I never really thought about it the way you said it, because that shit wouldn't make sense. Because you get over to because you know how it is. Like, if you ever seen kids where the parents aren't together, what's the one thing that the kids, the custodial parent or even the non-custodial parent, say to the kid when they go back to the other house? Don't you tell them what's going on here. Don't be talking about my business. And so that would have been a thing that I think that would have been, you try to tell the kids, especially the younger ones, like they go over to when they're over at at Robyn's house, when they were around the corner in Lehigh, and them, they're young, they too young to really know what's going on. Like, okay, they'd be over there playing G.I. Joe or Barbie or whatever, Transformers, trucks, and where daddy at? I ain't seen daddy. Oh, daddy at my house. And he be banging the trucks and stuff. Bang him, bang him, bang him. And he said, what dad be doing over at your house? I don't know. I don't really see him. He just be in a room with mom. And they be making a bunch of noises. Like, what? What? Yeah, one time I heard mom in there. And I said, what's going on? I opened the door. And it was like they was wrestling or something. Boom. Yeah, and the moms and the teenagers know what it is. Or they just be locked up in the room all day. Oh, okay, that's okay. And the wives, the OG3, they be like, oh, that's why his ass get back here. He tired all the damn time. That's why he tired. Ain't got no energy. He over there expelling all his energy at Doll House. And then not to mention, let's keep it all the way up. Let's keep it all the way above. Cody was going over, especially in the cul-de-sac. Cody was going over to their houses after he left. He was going over to Robyn's house after he left each one of the wives' houses that he was supposed to be spending the night at. So if he was at Mary's house, he gets there at 6 o'clock, leaves at 6 in the morning, he will go over to back over to Robyn's house. He spend the night, stay at Robyn's house all day, go over to Christine's house, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, get up at 6 in the morning, go right back over to Robyn's house. Same thing with Janelle. Wash, rinse, repeat, right? And if those kids are talking, Solomon, what's your dad be doing over there all the time? He be down in the office working. He don't be in no office. He be in the room with mommy. Word? That's what he be doing? Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's a good point. Because you can't tell a kid not, like, as much as you try to tell a child not to tell. Because how do you tell a child that they have to tell the truth and they can't keep secrets, and then at the same time tell them that they got to lie and keep a secret? Yeah, you got to be able to discern what truth you're going to tell. And at the time, Solomon and Ariella were young. So you could ask them questions. They barely talking good. Yeah, they don't know that they ain't supposed to come over there and tell you what mommy and daddy doing. So, yeah, that's a good point, Miss Kata. That's a good point. I don't even want to think about it. I'm going to have to wash my brain later. They be in there wrestling. Wow. You talking about therapy, Jack. Just put that on the therapy, boy. You guys put that on the credit card, Jack, because that's gonna be heavy duty. Yeah, kids talking. So then we have Zuzu.
Hi, my name is Zuzu. First time calling in. I want to say I think polygyny can work, but polygamy can't. They are two separate things. I also think that Robyn, she wanted a family, but she wanted to be the queen. She didn't want the wives to leave, but she didn't want them to have everything she had. I also would like to know what sacrifices that Cody always references that Robyn made, because from what I see, she made none. Also, I would like to know about Janelle, because she always seems like she is on her own. Like she don't really care about what Cody does or what he did. So I would like to know, like, what brought her back to the family when she decided to come back. Because if you realize, she was gone for almost like 5 years, not just a few months, but she was gone for a few years before the show. So I would just like to know that. But thank you. Have a great day.
Awesome. Zuzu in the house. First call. Awesome. Hit us with some big ones. Let's see. First in order, polygyny versus polygamy. Polygyny polygyny is polygamy. So it's it's not as much that they're two separate things. They're kind of polygamy is what we would talk about, like would be the broader definition. So polygamy technically could include having more than one husband, which would technically be polyandry. Polygyny is one husband, multiple wives. Polyandry is one wife, multiple husbands. Polygamy describes both those instances. Like, so, I guess with that, I guess my only question would be terms, like what we're talking about specifically. Number two, you said Robyn wanted a family, but she wanted to be the queen. I 100% agree with that. Like, I don't think that Robyn had an issue so much with Cody being married to those other women. He just didn't want them to be their husband. If you know, you know. Okay. I don't think that she was offended. Like, I don't think Robyn had a problem with him being married to those other women, but she didn't want him to act as though he was their husband. She wanted that shine for herself. And to be honest with you, I think that there is a point too, especially when you're trying to conduct this fantasy high school level relationship where you're trying to keep your relationship perfect, shiny, and new, and you don't want to take it out of the box because you don't want it to get scuffed or marred, because marriages are only meant to be looked at, not played with. Like, that kind of approach to marriage, that only really works if you get to send your partner out of the house. If you only have to spend one night with this joker, one, maybe 2 nights on the outside with him, then you can be the perfect wife. You can't be the perfect wife if you have to do this shit day in and day out. When he comes in with his attitude, his problems, his issues, and you can't say, look, if you having a problem, take that shit over to Christine, Mary, or Janelle. If you want to sit here and talk trash about them and how they ain't nothing, and pull up a chair, right? But you have to be there through all of it. Then yeah, that's when your marriage gets scuffed. That's when you go through hard times in your marriage, because you have to be able, in order for you to be able to feel secure in your marriage, you have to be able to feel like you can come to your partner and have that open discussion, that open dialogue. And if you don't feel like you can have that, then you don't have much of a marriage. But at the same time, if you're able to send him out when he's having issues or problems or concerns, you're able to ship him off to somebody else's house, because there are problems that don't, it's like the thing I used to say about TV shows all the time to my kids. Like, there are problems that don't get fixed in a half hour to an hour, depending on whether it's a sitcom or a drama. Like, there are problems that take you the first day for you to recognize that there's a problem, second day for you to realize that you don't know what to do and get your bearings on, get your feet set. Third day, maybe you come up with a plan. Fourth day, you start to put that plan into motion. Fifth day, it might be you working through that plan even though it looks like it's failing. Fifth, sixth day, you don't know what's happening. Seventh day, finally you begin to have a resolution or solution to your issues. And when you're in this type of relationship, you don't have to deal with none of that. All you got to do is send them out of the house, and hopefully by the time they get back, they done forgot whatever it is, or they dealt with it. And that's where Robyn got to deal. That's where Robyn got to play, and that's where she got to excel. So she was allowed to have a fantasy at her house. So again, I don't think that she wanted him over there necessarily, blowing their backs out and doing, the freakadeek, but he wanted them out of the house. And if they're having issues, problems, concerns, they would address it. If there were parties or gatherings or things like that, Christine could host it. She will put it together. Cody will come in, be the star of it, and he pull her up. And this is my wife, Robyn, and she gets to be the queen, as you put it, Zuzu put it. What sacrifices did Robyn make? The sacrifice I think that Cody keeps talking about is that Robyn's sacrifice, especially if you are high upon yourself, I think what he's talking about is she sacrificed her time with me. She allowed me to come over to your house and spend time with you. She gave up a lot because I wanted to spend as much time with her as possible. And I'm sure Cody, if you asked Cody, he probably would have told you. I wanted to spend it every day, every moment with her because she made me feel amazing, mostly because she kept that marriage wrapped up in that cellophane, and she didn't, she kept the plastic on it. Didn't let nobody sit on it when they came over to the house, right? So he wanted to keep experiencing that perfect relationship as she presented it. And because he had to go spend time with these other women, Robyn sacrificed a lot. And I think that's where it kind of comes in at. That's my perspective. Cody, if you want to be clearer about it, by all means. You've been saying it for years. Now will be the time for you to reveal exactly what it is you're talking about. Otherwise, you leave it up to us to guess. And that's my guess. Janelle always wanted to seem independent. What brought her back? Here's the thing. I think Janelle is one of those individuals. Like I had said it before, like there's a few people on the planet that I think are suited for polygamy, polygyny, polyamory, plural marriage, open marriage. There's it's not a huge population. I think it's a very small population that could actually pull it off. I think Janelle's one of those people. Okay, I think Janelle's one of those people. I don't think she requires the time and attention and maintenance of a consistent lover in her life. Like she'll be okay. Okay, you if anything, she might have just been putting Cody's ass on booty duty. Okay, because if you are a person like that and you have a certain moral code, which you grow up in some religious sects, you grow up in some religious cultures or communities, or conservative communities, you may have a position that you have physical needs, but you could go around just banging out strangers, and you have that capacity, and I feel nothing about it one way or another. Or make a friend, and this guy just come by and he do his thing. He maintenance man, okay? He just keeping the pipes clear. That's his job, right? And then he go home. Like I think she would be okay in that arrangement. But there are people who, because she's in a relationship, she keeps this relationship going because this is somebody familiar whom she could bring to her house and put in her bed, and she doesn't feel bad about it because she doesn't feel any guilt. That's my husband. Okay, well, where is he at? I mean, he's off with his wives. I don't give a shit. I mean, he's doing what he's doing. He's at, I call him up on Friday. I need to get my tires rotated. He come by on Friday. He out of there Friday evening. If I had my way, or maybe he too tired from the festivities of the night before, I just make him a nice strong breakfast and send his ass out in the morning, and I'm done with him. Like that's kind of the vibe I get. Why did she come back? That could have been part of it. And it also could just be a thing where she gets lonely, or she recognizes she's doing it by herself. Or it could be a thing where as your kids are getting older, they require more time and attention and guidance. And she's so busy working that she says, you know what, it'd be easier. So when she came back, was she necessarily coming back for Cody? Or was she coming back for the advantage of Christine and having somebody who's basically going to nanny her children while she's at work? And that's part of the setup. So I don't, that's one of the questions that I would ask if I had an opportunity to talk to Janelle. That would certainly be one of the questions that I asked her. When you came back, was it just for Cody, or was it the family that brought you back and the advantages of having sister wives? Because I genuinely don't think Janelle cared about Cody having other wives and what he was doing with them. I don't think she gave a shit one way or another. But I do think that like that advantage would have maybe been appealing to her. So hopefully I answered all your questions and I got everything. But if you ever want to, if you want to give me some more clarification on what you mean by polygyny versus polygamy and what you think the difference is, and we can come to terms on definitions and we can have that discussion. All right. Or if you want to call in on Sunday, that's cool. Or if you want to hit me up on email and I'll bring you up on the show. All right. But great points. Thank you so much. First time caller, like a pro. Next up, we got two from Takia. But before I get into that, let me just check one thing. Let's see. Unlimited lipstick, $2.79 super chat. Excellent point, Tanya. Also, you. yeah, that whole thing with Tanya Carter, like, them kids come back there and tell the truth. Hopefully, I say that they young and they don't know. They're young and that way they forget. Remember that time you walked in on us? No, I don't remember that. Oh, good. I mean, as opposed to teenagers, you know what the hell it is. Oh my gosh. Burn in your face. Somebody, you have to keep scissors and pencils away from them before you might Oedipus himself. What's going on? I done walked in on Cody. I saw him naked. He'll be jacked up like he's, bald headed, but he's got hair all over his body like some kind of chimpanzee or whatever. You're like Bigfoot. Oh God, he got a little bitty tiny weenie. That was terrible. All right, don't joke about another man's manhood. Bad. But yeah, that would be a scary situation. So we have two from Takia. Takia.
Hi, James. It's Takia again. I just wanted to leave a message. I don't think cry brows and Ramen Noodlehead would have had an affair if Robyn was married. Because if she was married, that means she would not have drove the 5 hours to go to the church to even see Ramen Noodlehead. The only reason why she was at that church was to snag him, to get on the show, to get money. So if it was no chance of a show and money, and she was just like a regular married woman, and she saw him, I don't think she's checking for Cody like that. Yeah, he's head over heels for her, and he's obsessed, but she's there for the money. We all know that. So I don't think they would have had an affair. He would have never saw her because, if it wasn't no show, she wouldn't even been around. Okay, bye.
All right. You know what? I don't disagree. You guys make some good points. I don't disagree with the point that had there been no show, she would have came around. And I think that frankly is exampled by the fact that all of a sudden you get a show, all of a sudden she starts showing up. Right? Before you had a show, she didn't make that 5-hour track down there to see her cousin Reba. She wasn't in them pews. I got a clip. I got a point that I wanted to make that comes from the book in one of my upcoming videos. Keep an eye out for it. That really demonstrates this point. That I know she wasn't in that church. I know she wasn't there. Prior to them knowing they had that show. Okay. Now, to address the point, do I think they would have cheated? Let me reframe. Because I think that the way Takia laid it out, no, I don't think she would have came down. If Cody didn't have a show, she never would have came. She wouldn't have drove 5 hours for nothing. Like this, it just wouldn't have happened, right? What I'm talking about, if Cody had the show and say she was married and she couldn't get on the show because she was married, so she couldn't be the fourth wife, but she could be on the show, and she had to do a little casting couch business in order to get on that show. Oh yeah, I think she would have did it. I think she would have did it. I think the motivation, because that type of ambition doesn't stop because you single and you trying to do the shit the right way. Driving 5 hours to insert yourself into a family, that's a thing. You understand what I mean? Like dating a guy because you want to be on a TV show, okay, fine, maybe. I would say you have the ethical standards, and this is just my opinion. You have the ethical standards to say that I'm not going to put myself out but so much. I'm not going to sell myself but so much. I'm willing to go out on a couple dates with a guy or be friendly with a guy because I want to be on this show. Still kind of jacked up that you're going to use somebody to get on the show, but okay. You're talking about marrying into a family and give him full privileges and full access as a husband to your body and to your kids and to your family because you're marrying into the family because you want to be on a TV show, and then you want to tell me that person has some kind of moral standard where they won't sleep with a guy to get on the show. I don't buy it. That's where I'm kind of coming from. So yeah, if it was just 100% what Takia said, if it was just Cody, not a show, no show, he ran into her, she's still married, he's still married, and they thunderbolt shooting all over the place. Thunder, 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 Thundercats, where the hoes? That whole thing, there wouldn't have been a lightning bolt. The lightning bolt was a TV show. It was TLC Lightning Bolt. That's what that was. Thunder, Lightning, Chaos. TLC. That's what that is. I just came up with that. I'm sorry. But that's where that came from. Okay? Because he had a TV show. But had he not had that, she would have kept it pushing. If she was dead ass single, okay, single, ready to mingle, he would have had a TV show. She would have said, excuse me, Mr. Man, one of them guys that he's so pressed about, so worried about, that was asking about her, and he was a more mature, because that's one of the things Cody has said in the book, that there was a more mature, more established man who wanted to spend time with her. Had you not had that show, young pup, she would have pushed your ass to the side and she would have said, "Excuse me, you blocking my view from Mr. Burns over here. You know, somebody help him up out his wheelchair. Come on, Hot Wheels, let's get it." You know what I mean? And that would have been what it is. She would have been there pulling this damn oxygen tank down the aisle. Okay? That's what it is. Cause you don't like, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. And you know, she's taking care of business. Kathy Franzel. No, I feel old, James. But yeah, I just, you know, I mean, I agree with Joe. I 100% agree with your point that if he had a TV show, then yeah, he would have got dropped off. Excuse me, or he'd have got the, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it depends when you do stuff, where you are and how they feel about it. Because he's sitting there staring at all crazy. Oh, yeah, look at them legs. Ooh, look at that booty boo. Look at that rump shaker. You know, he's giving it a fucking, pardon my friend, getting too crazy with it. But giving them the eyes and stuff, giving her the eyes. She would have turned around in that pew and embarrassed the hell out. What are you looking at? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you looking at me like you want something over here, like I owe your ass money or something? You need to turn around, pay attention to your wife. Because they even said that he was there with some women. And that's how she kind of described, like if you read the book, that's how she described Mary when she pulled up in the car. He was in the car with a woman. Turns out it was Mary. When he was talking to those women in church and those women were sitting next to him in church, my question is, was it the wives? Was it one of the wives? You know? And they just weren't paying attention. Because who go to church thinking a husband or a significant other is eyeballing somebody else? We here to worship the Lord, and you sitting up here, you know, staring at somebody's pants. What are we doing? So, but yeah, I agree, but I disagree. Give you some pushback. But let me know what you think. If you agree, disagree, let me know in chat. Next up. Wait, what the hell? Oh, damn it. Sorry, I just pull one in. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right, here we go. So we got one more from Takia.
Hi, James. My name is Takia. I just wanted to ask a question. Did you hear about Sister Wives? Janelle heads east. I was watching another creator talk about it just now. I didn't get a chance to look into it, but it seems kind of interesting. I think it's just with Janelle and the kids and Christine and David and a few of their kids. But that would be interesting. I don't know if they're testing the waters for a spinoff or they're just doing like a couple episodes like they did with Christine's wedding. So yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that well, because she's already living with her daughter and her daughter's husband. Well, actually her two daughters. So she lives with Maddie, Caleb, their kids, and from what I understand, Savannah moved down there with her. And even McKelty and Tony, from what I understand, moved to North Carolina. So they could be setting it up to do a spinoff show, or at least a kind of that, you know, break show, you know, extra credit show. Which would be kind of a pilot. That's what they used to call it back in the day when they would test shows. So it could be a pilot. I haven't heard that they were doing anything special for them, but I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah. I mean, good on them. If they're able to put together a show for themselves, good on them. Hopefully it works out. You know, they might struggle a little bit because every good show needs a villain, and the question is who's signing up to be the villain in that situation. You know, I guess it could be McKelty, maybe. But she doesn't strike me as like that's a commitment. Like being a villain of a show is a commitment. It's a major commitment. Because people are going to see you a certain way. And they're going to, you know, and it's not an easy life. Ask Cody. It's not an easy life. I'm sure he would tell you the same thing. But let me just check one more thing. All right. Let's see. Any good news that HBO special. Thank you so much, Lizzie B. All right. And see, Jody Pierscala, 499 super chat. Living so far apart, how much time did the kids spend together? And most kids were teens. I think Cody pushed Robyn on everyone. Yeah, you know what? When Robyn first came into the family, they finally were able to get together in the Lehigh house. A lot of the kids were still young. Like the only ones who were teens were some of the older kids, like the first what I call phase 1, 2, and 3. So you had Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. Like Gen 1 would be like Logan, Hunter, McKelty, Logan, Hunter, McKelty, Aspen, and Leon. Then phase 2 would be Gabe, Garrison, Isabel, Gwendolyn. Then you have phase 3, which would be just as the Brown kids are concerned. Oh, I also forgot Peyton. Peyton would be in phase 2. Then of course you'd have Truly and Savannah. Well, Savannah is like the end of like she's kind of bridging the gap between 2 and 3. But that's pretty much where I kind of place them at. And at that time, everybody under like Gwendolyn, Isabel, they were all very young. Gabe, Garrison, they were all very young. They were still young when they moved from Lehigh. Then they get out to Las Vegas. They live amongst each other in the cul-de-sac. By that time, they were all pretty much teenagers. And then they did a pretty good bang up job about separating them. So it was actually pretty cruel the way they did it. Like they were separated first, then they get them together at Lehigh. Everybody's excited about being together. Then you separate them again when you get to Vegas. Then you bring them back together at Vegas, only to separate them again when they get out to Arizona. So like the whole time they were kind of, yanked about. So that's what makes it particularly cruel. So it's almost that teasing effect. But yeah, thank you so much for that. Then we have Lizzie B gifted one My Take on Reality membership. Okay. Thank you so much, Lizzie B. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Make sure you check out the Monday Motivation. This week I did put it out on Tuesday. That was my fault. But I thought it was pretty good. It was about letting go certain situations. And sometimes you have things in your life that you have to let go voluntarily. Sometimes they're involuntary. Obviously some voluntary things, you might quit a job, leave a relationship, whatever the case may be. Even talking about letting go of your kids at some point. Like as your kids get older, one of the hardest things to do as a parent is to recognize when it's time to start, letting your kid go. They got to fly, and it's hard as a parent. First time you give them car keys, like to them, it's like, I don't understand what the problem is. You just give me the car keys, give me some money, yo. It'll be fine. Everything will be cool. Yeah, everything with you is fine. Everything with you is easy, right? Because they don't understand. Like as a parent, you see not only the opportunities for them, but you see the dangers. And as a parent, you want to protect your kid from all the dangers. But sometimes, you can protect your kid so much that they don't ever recognize there are dangers. And you actually can mess them up later on down the line. So in an effort not to do that, you combat with yourself and realize you got to let them go, and it could be a struggle. So in that video, I try to talk about those things. So it's check it out. But yeah. So yeah, but that's awesome. And we had a video that came out. I put out a video today, or I guess technically it'd be last night around midnight. But a little late for a video, James. But it just, like I said, it was talking about Cody and Robyn cooking them damn books. Coming in with Mary, talking about, yeah, we need to get your CPA to prove that you ain't stealing money from us. You mean money that I'm giving to the family? How could I steal money that's my money? What are we doing? Like, I don't know. God bless them, boy. God bless them. They better than me. But thank you so much, Lizzie B. All right, let's put some I see Kathy's waiting to get some information back from her doctor. Let's throw some hearts in the chat for Kathy, for Rand. Hopefully everything comes out the way you want. Oh, thank you so much, Teresa. Appreciate that. Oh, something. Yeah, let's throw some hearts in the chat for Kathy. You know, get out there, throw some in there too. Throw some dubs up. All right, guys. But we have finished. We have gotten through all the super chats. We got through all the speak pipes. Amazing comments, amazing questions. Appreciate you guys. Big shout out. Oh, let me call my thing up again. Big shout out to call it over here. To Mary. Appreciate you. Tanya, Gloria, Zuzu, Janet, Takia, Seriously, Sam, and Anonymous, who left an email for us. Appreciate you. What the shit? What? Says my take on, I told both rotators and my labrum and a slap tear on both sides. Holy Nike. Goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. Oh. Kathy, what are you doing, girl? You jumped down the elevator shaft? Holy shit. That's a lot. Oh, Kathy. I'm going to have to throw some more hearts in the chat for you. Oh, my goodness. Feel better, Kathy. That is crazy. That's a lot. That is a lot. And my dad, he tore one of his rotator cuffs. That's a serious injury. And to tear both of them? Oh, Kathy. Yeah, I'm with Teresa. I pray total healing for you, Kathy. May you be back to 100% soon and return to normal and pain-free, especially the pain-free part. I guess my message didn't save. Love your channel. Oh, thank you so much. I'll ready to retire. All right, I hear you. Love the title. Yeah, I didn't. If you leave additional messages. I didn't get it, but yeah, I'd love to hear from you. Oh, it happened a year ago, so now you're a little cranky. Yeah, I guess so. What is this? I broke my foot a year ago and fell down the stairs. Oh shit. Yeah. You know what? Them damn them dang on crutches. You know. Yeah, I jacked my knee up one time in high school, and I almost took a tumble going down steps. Those things are dangerous, like the crutches, and then like trying to navigate. And then the worst part is that you misstep and you put pressure on whatever it is that hurts, and that's not there for you. And then down you go. Down goes Frazier. I'm ready for Bubbles and Calgon to take Cody away. Love y'all. And with that, I'm out. Okay, Kathy, you get some good rest. Praying for you. Hopefully everything turns out good. Put some more hearts in there for you. All right. Kathy, keep Kathy in your prayers, y'all. That's rough. Going from one injury right to the next one. And when you get back to the hospital, the doctor's like, what the shit? Weren't you just here? Hopefully everything turns out good. But yeah, thank you. Okay, Teresa Skinner beat me to it. Thanks to the moderators for making this a safe place for everyone. Thanks, James, for keeping it real as always. Good nights, all. Jeez. Yeah, I want to thank big shout out to everybody who left a message on Speakpipe, as well as Lizzie B, who was holding down for us, making sure everything was safe as far as the chat is concerned. And per usual, whether they're here or not, I'd like to thank Britney Not Britney and Caramel Cuties for making sure when they are here, they're holding it down. You know, Lizzie B is OG, triple OG. So make sure you check out Facebook. She runs the Facebook. Make sure everything is cool over there. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thanks for keeping the chat cool. Thanks for participating. Thank you to everybody who left super chats. Let me give you guys a little shout out too. And then on Sunday, I'm going to have some shout outs to some folks who left some super chats on the videos. I want to start doing that as well, just to recognize everybody. But big shout out to Jody, Periscala, Negla 3 joining the membership. Negla 3 with the super chat. Heather Kelly. Then we also have Teresa Skinner. What? Erica MF. Ty. Janet wants to gain. And yeah, of course, Lizzie B for donating the membership. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. And everybody who stayed cool in the chat and kept everything moving forward. Appreciate you. Let me get a little something, something. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. And have a great night. Be safe. Take care of yourselves. Make sure you keep Kathy in your prayers. Appreciate y'all. Have a great evening. That's my take. I'm James, and this has been my take on reality, and I'm out.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side.